Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for another Fabricate Friday. Today I have a unique notepad holder project that I'd like to share with you. You can see all the different colorways that I used. So these are the little thank you gifts that I give to anyone who shops with me, whether online or in person. And they all include a really cute notepad and a pen. I tried to match up as best I could. It's cute, eh? All of them are for ladies this time around. So I wanted to show you how I made them. Oops. And I wanted to show you the stamp sets that I'm using. Today I'm using the Cottage Greetings, wishing you a ridiculous amount of happiness. And the tin of cards, I'm using the little scallop here. I love that. Okay, so I have all the pieces cut out. So, oh my, that one came off. So we started off with a 10 by 8 piece of paper, cardstock I should say, and I basically got the measurement from this notepad, which is 8 inches. So that's going to fit right in there. So I'm going to put together how I actually adhered the paper pad to the paper first, and I'm using a little bit of score tape initially. So obviously when this little piece strip that I'm using here came off of just the end part, so that is about a half an inch. Yeah, so on the 8.5 inch side I cut off half an inch to make it 8 inches. And I'm using this little piece, and I know that you can rip our terrible tape, but I'm going to cut just because I want a neater edge. So I'm just placing a little bit of the adhesive on one end of the strip, and then let's see, a gray pen will go, or should I do blue? I have a couple of different colors, but I'm going with gray. All right, so decisions. So I took the pad of paper, went with the sticky bit down. I'm just gonna kind of snug that up, and I wanted to make enough room for the score tape. I have my pen here because I kind of wanted to take that little piece there. There we go. I wanted to keep the pen in the pad, so I am trying to line up evenly. And then I'm just adhering that down. Now I'm pushing the pad of paper, butting that right up against it. And just to hold it secure, I'm just using one mini glue dot right on the underside here. And lining that up, sticking that down. Perfect. All right, so another piece of score tape. Actually, terrible tape. It's called Terran tape, actually. I'm completely off on the names of it. It is very similar to score tape. It's that sticky. So I'm just adhering another piece, and I'm going to take off the backing And I'm going to make sure I'm straight. It's easier to make sure I'm straight without the pen being on. There we go. Then I do want to keep the pen in there for this part, so I'm just going to butt that pen up and wrap it around, and then just with my fingernail sort of give it a crease. Everyone's going to be different. If you try this at home, it's going to be different, so I'm kind of not giving you you know, exact measurements because everyone's going to be different, I'm sure. And then I'm just going to cut off a wee bit. There it is. And you don't want this to be too snug, but you want it to be snug enough that it holds on. So that's pretty much how I put those together. Now for the decoration, the first piece that I use is just a 1/4 inch smaller than the main, and oh, here's my glue. This is Rich Razzleberry, and this is a 1/4 inch smaller of Very Vanilla, and a 1/4 inch smaller of Wisteria Wonder. So I'm going to start with the Wisteria Wonder. So this size was 4 7 1/4. And I'm using liquid adhesive here, if it ever comes out of the bottle, so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. You don't need much. This stuff is pretty strong. And then the Very Vanilla was 4 1/4 by 7 1/2. And then I took dimensionals on the back of that, and I put quite a few down because I didn't want it really sagging or bowing. Putting that on the very top, hoping it's center. Okay, so then I have 2 other smaller pieces. So this will be the 4th and the 5th layer. And on the 5th layer of Whisper White, I'm going to use that little scallop. And I think I will use, let's see, I'll use the soft suede ink. It's a little dark, so. And I varied the way I put these little scallops on, and I don't really know which way I like better. I think I just really like the design, just like that. Oh, let me close this because I will get ink everywhere. And again with a little bit of Tombow. Sorry, I'm off screen, but it's the way it's gotta be. And putting that straight down, and then a little bit more dimensionals. This time I'll only use 5. slippery little sucker. So that's the beginning there. And then I took that wishing you sentiment, and I'm going to use Blushing Bride. And the reason why is because I just took my colors from these notepads. So it looked like to me there was some Blushing Bride, there was some Rich Razzleberry, there was a Soft Suede and Vanilla in here, so I just kind of went with that. And I'm using one of my favorite punches, the decorative label punch. And I'm going to punch that out. And then I'm going to get a little bit of Blushing Bride. Excuse me, there's a little piece right here. Let's hope that little scrap. It's a good way of using up scraps, that's for sure. Okay, I'm just going to clean this up here. So I took my scissors and I'm lining up that little edge there to that little edge there. And then I'm cutting off these little bits right here. And then with a little bit of Tombow on the back of this sentiment, and I'm just taking this little piece and basically I'm lining up that point in the middle. And I find that when I use the liquid glue, I can move it around and get it precise. And that's that. A few more dimensionals here. I think I'll use 3. And put that in the center. That looks great. And then you've probably seen a million times me do this. I punched it with my Petite Petals, and I have a sponge dauber with the Blushing Bride. And oops, where did I put it? Got a little dry. And I'm just sponging the edges, just like that. And then I take my paper piercer and a large rhinestone. And then I'm just going to flip them all over with and then apply with glue dots, mini glue dots. Oh, I had a cattywampus rhinestone. And then just because I think it looked a little plain, I'm going to put a couple more rhinestones. If you can hear the little kitties, I have a new bunch of little kitties with me. I'm fostering them, and they're much more quiet. There's only 2 of them, so all right, this is the project for today. There we go, nice and focused. And inside, a little pen that slips out, slips back in for my customers for the month of July. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you like any of the colors or the products that I used today, the link's below. Bye.